everyone. Welcome to the National Small Business Week Virtual Summit hosted by the U.S. Small Business Administration and SCORE. I'd like to welcome you as well to this webinar session being presented by the Department of Labor and the IRS. This webinar will discuss wage and hour requirements for employers and employees and small business resources. Today, you will hear from Corey Carrizales with the DOL. He is the Community Outreach Resource and Planning Specialist, as well Yvette Davis with the IRS, who is a Stakeholder Liaison Field Representative, and Joe Ellen Jarrett, who serves as the first Chief Learning Officer and Chief of Organizational Effectiveness for the SBA, will be moderating the questions today. Before we begin the presentation, I'd like to mention just a few quick housekeeping items. The webinar will last 35 minutes. You have the ability to download the slide deck on the bottom of the webcast console by clicking the handouts icon. If you have any questions or experience any technical difficulties, please use the Q&A box. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and bring Corey on the line now to begin. Hi, Corey.
Hey, welcome everybody, and thank you for the invitation. I want to extend a warm thank you to SBA for the invitation. It's always a joy for me to have the opportunity to make these presentations and reach out to the public and share with them all the information that we have regarding wage and hour, and assist them as best as we can with how to be in compliance with the laws and hopefully sleep a little better every night. So let me go ahead and begin with what we're doing here today. I want to give you a very short, and it is going to be a very short overview of what Wage and Hour does, and our mission and what our role is with the agency. And the whole purpose of it, of course, is to better assist you all in your operations, your daily operations, to make sure that you know that what you're doing is correct. The employees that you have working for you are being paid as the law requires, and hopefully, again, sleep better at night. So the whole purpose of Wage and Hour, which is a division of the Department of Labor, is to basically ensure that all the workers in the United States are being paid as required under federal law, to make sure that the businesses and the establishments that exist in the United States that are covered by Wage and Hour are also complying with the labor laws, to make the playing field fair and level for everybody, to make sure that every employer is receiving their due process, I suppose, and again, make sure that all the laws are being complied with. When Wage and Hour goes out and does an actual investigation, we are going to look at a multitude of laws that we enforce, starting with the Fair Labor Standards Act. Another one is the Family Medical and Leave Act, the Davis-Bacon related acts, which are government contracts laws, temporary programs, also temporary laws that affect migrant workers, such as under the H-2A or H-2B workers. And these are people that will come in and work temporarily for a specific duration and for a specific job. But these are the laws that, for the most part, Wage and Hour enforces. For the majority or 90% of the businesses in the United States, the law that's going to affect you folks is going to be the Fair Labor Standards Act. And that is the law that covers the minimum wage, overtime, and record keeping, which are essentially 90% of the work that we do. When we do an investigation, the majority of the time what we're looking for is we're trying to make sure, again, that employees are being paid minimum wage, correct overtime, and we want to make sure that the employers are in compliance with the record keeping requirements. Those requirements, for example, include that an employer retain employee records for a period of 3 years. Those records must contain the employee's information, must contain the employee's payroll information, the rates of pay, the hours worked on a weekly basis, the hours worked, let's say, the amount of pay the employee got, the amount of deductions the employee received. And all of these things are things that are required under Section 11 of the Fair Labor Standards Act. Failure to have those things could result in a penalty or a violation. We always tell employers that it's their advantage to have that information available, because if there ever was a complaint that was filed against an employer and an investigation was proceeded, we would look. The first thing we were going to ask for is, let me look at the employee records. Let me verify that what we are being told by either the employee or by someone else is accurate, or give us an opportunity to disprove it by looking at those payroll records that may show different information or conflicting information than what we were told previously. So it's important to have that information available to us as well. When we Wage and Hour, for the purposes of employers, has a telephone service that is available to any and all employers, and I encourage employers to use this as much as possible. As part of my job as a community outreach and resource planning specialist, my job is to provide education and training to employers so that they're in compliance with the laws. And one of the ways we do that is when an employer has a question, they can call our telephone line, which the number's at the bottom of your screen there, and ask flat out, ask a question. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Is this correct? Or could you please call me back? I have a question regarding overtime. I have a question regarding meal breaks. I have a question regarding whatever. We answer. In this particular slice is over 400,000 calls in a fiscal year of 2020. When I'm in the office, I'll tell you what, that phone never stops ringing. And we are glad to take those calls, because our job is not just to go out and do investigations and try and find violations. Our job is to assist employers as best as we can to make sure they're in compliance with those laws before a violation may occur. So when we're talking about education and outreach, we try and reach out to employers. We try and reach out to special interest groups. We try and reach out to unions. We try and reach out to anybody and everybody that could benefit by this information as much as we can. And we do it successfully. We always tell employers that just by simply calling us, we are not going to conduct an investigation. In fact, I welcome that. In my area alone, and I am, by the way, in South Texas. In my area alone, I have numerous employers that reach out and call me out. I'm going to say probably on a monthly basis, that either have concerns with an employee who may have taken excess leave, an employee who may have arrived late, and the employer is calling me to say, what can I do? Do I have the right to make a deduction from their wages? Do I have a right to penalize this employer? And these are legitimate questions that people otherwise may not know the answers to. So again, I always tell employers, do not hesitate to pick up the phone and call us. I would much rather sit there and talk with you and give you the correct information than have a complaint that is filed and saying, hey, I'm working for company ABC and I'm not being paid the correct wages. Please come and conduct an investigation. Investigations, by the way, are initiated by several ways. You can have a current or an ex-employee that may not be content with their situation, or may be concerned that something isn't being done right, and they would call our office and ask for assistance, and that would initiate an investigation. You may have a competitor who says, hey, I'm working alongside this company here, and I know for a fact that they're not paying their employees correctly, and it's affecting my business because they are undercutting me. We may also conduct an investigation because maybe someone in the national office said, hey, this particular year, we want to focus on this particular group of employers just for statistical purposes. And we may be directed to conduct an investigation just for that purpose, to find out, make sure that perhaps a particular type of business, to find out their level of compliance in the United States. So there's a variety of reasons why we may walk into your doors. And any investigator who does go into your door will have the authority to conduct interviews, certainly meet with the employer, would have the ability to tour the establishment, would have the ability to evaluate records, and do whatever they felt it was necessary for them to make a successful determination on the compliance level of that business. In front of you is the core contact information. Every office, we have over 400 offices in the United States, wage and hour offices. You can call that number or log onto that number and find out which is the core closest to you. You can reach out to that individual and make them a personal contact. And just like I mentioned earlier, folks in this area have me as a personal contact, and I have no problem with anybody reaching out to me and asking for my assistance as well. So that web page there, that link there on your screen, would allow you, give you the same information for the nearest core. We call ourselves core. It's an acronym to help you with any questions that you may have. We are committed and strongly believe in the association with partners in the United States. And when we say partners, we're talking about nonprofit groups, business associations, workers' rights organizations, federal and state agencies. Next week, for example, I'm going to give probably the 6th presentation to the Texas Workforce Commission, to their outreach workers this particular fiscal year alone. It seems to never be a ending process because people forget. Even with me, I've been with this agency 24 years, and for as long as I've been here, it seems like every year I'll have to go back and refresh my memory on what are the laws, what are the requirements, just to make sure that when I give the information or presentations that I am doing, giving the businesses the right information. But we welcome and we look forward to associations with particular business groups for the purpose of, again, maximizing our efforts. So if I can go out on a Friday afternoon, on a Monday afternoon, or a Tuesday morning and talk to 30 or 40 people that are part of a construction association, I would love it, because those 30 or 40 employers are going to affect probably 3,000 employees. And they're going to spread the word about, to all the other people that may not have attended, about what is legal and what is not. And they all have the same questions. So the partnerships that we promote are really important to Wage and Hour. We look forward to them. And there's always associations in each and every community that you can be a part of. And if you're not familiar with those, I ask you to look those up, because we would love to be a part of it. When we do the presentations, many times, for example, I will get calls from SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Managers, and they'll say, we have 40, 50 people that are going to be in our presentation this week. Can you please make it? And I'll go out there and bring materials, bring handouts, bring posters, bring whatever I can to assist and to provide more information or more guidance to the members. The types of communication and outreach that we do, folks, unfortunately, this past year, we have done all of our presentations, everything that we've presented, every meeting that we've had has been done virtually. The last word that we've received from Washington or from our region and our regional office has been that we will not be physically back able to make in-person presentations until perhaps after October of this year, due to the increase in the Delta variant of the COVID virus. I miss that. Honestly, I miss that, because my style of presentations is going out, looking at faces and shaking hands. That's what I really enjoy doing. And doing this thing via virtual, well, yes, it's effective. And yes, you tend to reach a lot more people, but you just don't know how effective you are. Because I love the idea that when after I'm done a presentation, people will stop me and grab my arm and say, "Hey, I've got a question for you. Let me ask you about this or that in my particular business." So that is, I really do miss that. But the type of work and assistance that we can provide for you folks is we can give you posters that are required, such as the FLSA, the minimum wage posters, the employee polygraph protection poster, the FMLA posters. Not everybody is required to have them. Only businesses that are covered under the FLSA are required to have these posters, but it's a good idea to have them. And if you were to call any of our offices or call the core in your area, they would be able to provide these things to you free of charge. In addition to that, they could provide you with publications regarding the actual regulations themselves, word by word, as printed in the FOH, as printed in the regulations published by the federal government, and give you specifically anything that you may want. But even beyond that, just getting that firsthand knowledge from the investigator or the core, and giving you flat out, here's my question and here's the answer. You can't beat that kind of service, and that is something that we provide to any and all employers. Okay, so here is the log, I guess the links for any information that you may have. The Wage and Hour homepage there is there. The worker portal if a worker wants to have questions, and the employer portal. So please jot those down. I think those things will be available. They will be available during the remainder of the seminar. For the next few days, they'll be available in the virtual booth, and I'm sure they'll be accessible here through some form or other during the 2-day seminar here as well. Okay, contact. Here's the link for the core contact page, and the direct line for Wage and Hour. What happens if you call the Wage and Hour hotline? I'm calling it a hotline. It's really a helpline. They will direct you to the nearest office closest to your office, and you'll be contacted by one of the technicians or an investigator. So that, again, it may be a half a day delay, it may be a few hours delay, it may be a 1-day delay, but they will reach out back to you. That I can promise you. And that pretty much wraps up what I had to say. I will be available throughout the remainder of the seminar in the virtual booth if there are any additional questions that I may answer for you. And I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.
Good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you are viewing this, I want to just say thank you so much to SCORE, to the SBA, the Department of Labor. This is a great opportunity for us at the Internal Revenue Service to bring you this information. And just wanted to say very quickly, just as Corey mentioned, face-to-face is my preference as well, but we know that during this time, the virtual world has yielded a lot of great opportunities for us, and the IRS is no different. We've got a ton of information to share with you today, so I want to go ahead and jump right on into this information. Are you a small business looking for resources from the Internal Revenue Service? If you are, then you, my friend, are in the right place, and welcome. My name is Yvette Davis, and I do work for the Internal Revenue Service, and I'm a senior stakeholder liaison. I've been with the service now for over 33 years. So I've seen my share of small businesses, and I've seen my share of those startup businesses. So I understand the importance of knowing and being able to find those resources for your small business. So again, you're in the right place. Just take this journey with us as we take you through just a few of the small business resources available to you and your business. So today we're going to talk about these small business resources, just a few of them. And everything that I'm talking about today, you can find on irs.gov. And for you, my small businesses, we've got a great link specifically for you. And that can be found at www.irs.gov/smallbiz. That's SMALLBIZ. All of the information that we're sharing with you today, you'll be able to find at that link. And we do have a ton of small business resources, helpful resources that we're going to go through with you today. Now, you don't have to be a tax expert when you're running your business, but you need to know the basics, right? So you can run your business smoothly. The Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center seen on the screen has a number of links that you can use that includes helpful tax information and services for our business owners. So what will you find here? Again, a ton of resources for you. That includes resources for taxpayers who file the regular 1040 return, or if you're a senior, 65 and older, the 1040 SR. You're going to find information for those small business owners who may need to file the Schedule C, E, F, or even the Form 2106, as well as other vital information for your small business with assets under $10 million. Again, this is some great information for you. And it's also available in other languages. That's right. Spanish, simplified and traditional Chinese, Korean, Russian, Vietnamese, Haitian Creole, right? A lot of great information in a variety of languages. You're going to find information on this Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center about information for self-employed individuals, independent contractor or employees, business structures. We get a lot of questions. What type of business structure should I choose? You're going to find information on businesses with employees. Are you just getting started? Do you have employees? Are you thinking about getting employees? This is where you want to go. You're going to find information about various industries and professions. You're going to find information about preparing your taxes, right? For your small business. What business tax credits can you claim? Are you eligible, for example, for the employee retention credit? Is that something you can claim? Deducting expenses, big question. What business expenses can you deduct? You're going to find information on that here. Record keeping, a really vital part of a small business owner's life. If you want longevity, keep good records. You're going to find information about that here, as well as employment taxes. What tax returns are you supposed to file as a small business owner? You're going to find information on filing and paying those taxes. You're going to find a tax calendar. And this we're going to talk a little bit more about in just a few minutes. What if you already filed some tax returns, or what if you're delinquent in filing those returns? All of those questions can be found on this particular Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center. These links are going to be vital to you and the longevity of your business. Stages of owning a business. You're going to be able to find information about that. Are you starting a business? Are you in the middle of operating a business? Are you one of those folks who are now facing closing a business? You're going to find that information here as well. Did you change your address? Did you change your business name? All of that, yep, you're going to find it right here. This page has a ton of general topics for you as a small business owner. It also includes links to various online learning tools that we have. Have you ever heard of our IRS Video Portal? If you haven't, this is one of the best educational tools the IRS has created, and it's available to you at no cost. Small business events. Have you attended any of our webinars for businesses? Did you even know that we hold these events for free? Online tools and educational products. You're going to be able to find a list of those, a variety of these products here to help you learn about business taxes on your own time, at your own pace. At your own pace. This is a great source, and this information is available to you every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is going to be great for you business owners because your business schedules are different, right? You're busy running your business. So this is information that you're going to need, and you're going to be able to find this information on our website, as I mentioned, www.irs.gov/smallbiz. Have you heard of our small business tax workshops? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. That is another really great resource for you as a small business owner. Are you subscribed to any of our ENews subscriptions? We've got something specifically for our small business owner, and it's called ENews for Small Business. As you can see, there is a wealth of information just right here on the Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center page. Now, we're going to talk about a few of those resources in more detail, so I want to highlight those. But one of the most popular links on our website at irs.gov is the link that talks about the employer identification number, right? Folks also want to know what types of forms and publications should I be filing. They have questions about self-employment taxes, electronic filing those employment taxes. Do you have some of these same questions? I'll bet you do. Again, you are in the right place. Very quickly, let me just go back for a moment. The employer identification numbers, again, remember I said it's one of the most popular links on the Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center. An EIN number, also known as an Federal Tax Identification Number, FTIN. This number is used to identify your business entity, right? So generally, and I do say generally, businesses need an EIN. It's so easy for you to apply for an EIN. You can apply for one in various ways. You can apply online, or you can simply mail in the SS4 to make that request. Again, this is a free service offered by the Internal Revenue Service, and you can get your EIN immediately if you go through the online platform. Okay? Please make sure you're using a valid link to get your EIN number. If you try to get this EIN number and it says there's a cost to it, click out of that. Don't click on anything in there because, again, as I just said, this EIN number that you can get doesn't cost anything. It is free. So be aware of scammers who try to take advantage of you as a small business owner, hoping that you didn't do your homework. But you are doing your homework by being here today. So again, my hat's off to you. So now let's talk about the online tax calendar that I mentioned a moment ago. So how do you avoid not filing on time or not making those deposits on time? I'm so glad you asked that question. You do this by taking advantage of the online tax calendar. If you can find the online tax calendar at www.irs.gov/tax calendar. Here, you'll be able to view the instructions to subscribe to or even import the tax calendar. This tax calendar is available in English and in Spanish. So what does the tax calendar do? Well, it allows you to view important tax dates for your small business. And this can be viewed on your computer or your mobile device, just like you do with Gmail. And this includes, of course, those all-important smartphones. The calendar can display general information on various due dates based on your specific needs, based on your specific business needs, should I say. You decide what filters are displayed on the calendar. I'll give you an example. If you're a monthly or semi-weekly depositor, then you simply choose that particular filter. Any filing requirements or deposit due dates, well, those things are going to show up on your calendar relative to that specific filter for your business. And bonus, the calendar, again, is available to you in both English and Spanish. So remember that. Share this information with those you meet and those that you do business with. Okay? Other business owners. Please remember this. When you have questions about the tax calendar, we've got an opportunity for you to submit feedback to IRS Tax Calendar at irs.gov. Again, simply email your feedback or questions to IRS Tax Calendar at irs.gov. But in doing this, please don't share your Social Security number, your taxpayer identification number, that includes your employer identification number, and don't include your address. This mailbox is for feedback only to help IRS improve the tax calendar. Okay? Again, think about this information. Use the IRS tax calendar at irs.gov to provide some feedback. Let us know how it works for you. Let us know what we can do to improve the calendar. Okay? Next, I'm going to share with you another great online source that I mentioned as well, the IRS Video Portal, another great online learning tool. Now, I know as business owners, you're probably very busy running your successful business, so you may not be able to join live webinars. Through the video portal, you can watch helpful videos and archived webinars on a variety of topics. Those topics include information from filing and paying your taxes to understanding an IRS audit, right? Nobody likes to talk about those. And yeah, in case you're wondering, we do offer live webinars, which is another form of online communication that we use to deliver important tax information. Webinars are just another convenient way for people to see and hear presentations online at your own time, using your own computers. For those folks who are unable to, as we are now all in a virtual platform, we're unable to go face to face and do these types of events at this particular time. So these online videos, that's going to be a great source or resource for you. Live webcasts are archived. Generally speaking, they're archived and then they're added to the portal within about 3 weeks after broadcasting. So if you see something online and you see an event that's happening and you're unable to attend at that particular time, give us about 3 weeks. And generally speaking, we will have that posted to our IRS videos. Okay. And you'll be able to see that information. Right now, there are more than 150 IRS videos, webinars, and workshops listed on our portal. Okay, so let's move on to another helpful tool, the Small Business Tax Workshop. I mentioned that as well a few minutes ago. I just want to tell you just very briefly about the Small Business Tax Workshops. It's made up of 8 lessons, and you can pick and choose whichever one you need to use or want to view. There are lessons here from federal taxes and your new business, the Schedule C, small business taxes, filing and paying taxes. There's also a lesson in here about hiring people who live in the United States but who aren't citizens. This is a great option for those who can't attend those in-person workshops or attend those live webinars. Again, this is another resource that's available to you 24/7, so it will fit your schedule. If you haven't taken a look at this helpful resource yet, I encourage you to check it out. Okay, so now let's talk about yet another resource, ENews for small businesses. I mentioned our ENews subscriptions a little bit ago. ENews for small businesses is a free electronic mail service and is designed to provide tax information for small business owners and self-employed individuals. Basically, all you do is sign up and you'll start receiving information about important tax updates for you as a small business, self-employed customer. You'll find information about what's new for your small businesses. You'll get reminders and tips to assist you as a small business, self-employed individual, just to help with voluntary compliance, right? To make sure you know what's happening and when you need to be filing returns and things of that nature. You're going to also see news releases and special IRS announcements pertaining to you as a small business, self-employed customer only. You're not going to get any of those other types of emails not pertinent to you as a small business owner. Okay, so if you don't do anything else, take a moment and subscribe to ENews for small businesses. You won't regret it. It's a great tool to have. All right. I would also like to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's right. IRS has a YouTube channel, right? So this is just a channel to receive updates when we add new helpful videos for small businesses just like yours. So take a look at that as well. And finally, I just had to share a few of our highly recommended publications for small businesses. They are easy to find on irs.gov. So in the search window, just enter the publication number. If you don't know the publication number, that's fine too. Enter a keyword just to do a quick search of that information. So that's all I have for today, folks. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And remember, all of the information shared here today can be found at www.irs.gov or www.irs.gov/smallbiz. All the best to you and to your business endeavors. I'm here to answer any questions for you. Thanks a lot.
Wow, thank you so much, Corey and Yvette. What amazing information on both counts. So we did get a number of awesome questions, but I'm going to pull an audible and just throw one question out on the table for both of you. If there was one thing that you wanted to tell folks to just sum up the information that you shared with us today, Corey, what would that be?
I guess more than anything, it's do not hesitate and be afraid to call our office for guidance. I have heard way too many times from employers, I didn't want to call you for fear that if I called you, you were going to do an investigation on my business. We are not that type of agency. We would prefer to help anybody before we would go in there and do an investigation. So that would, hopefully, if I convey nothing else, that would be the one thing that I would like to share with our audience today.
Very good. Yvette, what about you?
Yeah, that's good, Corey. And speaking for the IRS, I know a lot of people usually run the other way when they hear those three letters, but I want to encourage you all of the small business owners, please don't run the other direction. There are so many resources available for you to ensure the success and longevity of your business. Please know that we are here to help you. We are here to help you create a space that is safe for you so that you can ask those questions or even get the questions answered that you need answered. And that's why I want to encourage everyone to go to our website, irs.gov/smallbiz. Check out our Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center. That's where you're going to find a lot of information that's going to be really, really helpful to you in your business as you start or maintain your business. That's where you're going to find the best resources and the best answers for your business. The last thing I want to say is for some of you who may have employees, if you're an existing business already, by signing up for ENews for small businesses, that's going to be something that's going to be very valuable to you because it's going to give you information, like I mentioned before, about business tax credits. That's going to help put money in your pockets if you know where to look for those answers and that information. Getting information from the IRS directly is going to help you do that. Okay, you're going to be able to learn about those tax credits. You're going to be able to help your employees. For example, with the advanced child tax credit, that's something else that as employees, you may be able to share that valuable information with them to put money into their pockets. So small business owners, don't run the other direction from the IRS. Run to our Small Business Self-Employed Tax Center and get that knowledge that you need because we want to see your business grow and be sustainable and have longevity. That's all I have. Thanks.
Yvette. And Corey, I'm going to give you the benefit of the last question. I did get one here that I think might be of interest. And it says, what is the difference between an independent contractor and an employee? As a small business owner, I might have both. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between them as it pertains to your organization?
Well, without going into a really elaborate explanation of the two, I'll be brief. When you hear the word independent contractor, that's the fellow that you call on the phone because your AC broke down and he drives up in his own van with his own lettering on the side of the van and it says Corey Currizales AC or Corey Currizales Plumbing. That's an independent contractor who's operating his own business. And he has the opportunity for either profit or loss, depending on what he charges, depending on what his expenses are, depending on what his investments are in his business. But he's basically running his own show. He doesn't have a boss that's telling him, hey, I want you to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're going to work till 5 and I want you to take a lunch from 12 to 1. He's basically his own independent employer. That's an independent contractor. And we compare that to someone who, let's say, goes to work for a large company, who's told what time to arrive, who's told what time to leave, who is supervised by another individual in that company, who really has no discretion about what he or she may be doing regarding, I guess, the success of the business. He's just there to perform work that he was hired to do. That's an employee. So the difference is many times, well, what we've seen in our businesses, we will walk into an investigation and we'll ask, how many employees do you have? And an employer has mistakenly hired or put everybody as an independent contractor for the sole purpose of what? I want to deal with the record keeping. And they think by simply categorizing them as an independent contractor, that would alleviate their requirements that you find in the FLSA. But there are very specific requirements in the definition of what is an independent contractor and what's an employee. And we definitely segregate the two. And if somebody has misclassified them, we'll correct them. And hopefully that misclassification has not resulted in somebody being owed back wages. But I hope that there is a lot more to it, but that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, I have got to jump in just very quickly because we have the best publication in the world. Well, maybe not in the world. Publication 1779, Corey is going to give them those specifics about what it looks like being an independent contractor or an employee. Publication 1779, and it's labeled, the name is independent contractor or employee. Publication 1779. Tell them to go there.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yvette. Well, you all have provided a ton of information, very valuable information for our small business owners. And we thank you so very much for the time that you've given us today and for the valuable resources.
Thank you for having us.